What's going on, guys? King Trats here, back in the video on the channel, and today we just had to make a little sandwich. I've been in the mood for this for a while, but I just never got around to getting the ingredients. But we made, well, it's my institution, the sausage and peppers sub. It's super easy. One of the most common Italian-American recipes. You don't know this, I said this a bunch of times, but I grew up in a predominantly Italian-American neighborhood in my teenage years and my later childhood, so I've always liked sausage and peppers. Let me take you through this simple recipe real quick. First thing we did was we have got some Italian sausage. I use chicken sausage, obviously, just for the calorie aspect. So I just put those in a pan with a little bit of olive oil spray. You can use olive oil, which is the more traditional way. And you're just gonna brown those off. You wanna make sure that you cook them. You don't have to cook them all the way through because you're gonna take them out, which is what I did. And then we're gonna add our red and green peppers as well as some onion, one of each. And we're gonna add that into our pan with a little more olive oil. I use spray, and then I added some garlic and some Italian seasoning, red pepper flakes, parsley. This seasoning has red peppers in it, and as well as the hot ones. So you can use the other Italian seasoning, but I like spice in mine with spicy Italian sausage as well. Some people like to use the sweet. I don't, F sweet. So we add those, and then we're just gonna cook those down until they still have a little bit of crunch in them, but to your liking. If you wanna have them soggy as hell, knock yourself out. Once those are to your liking, you're going to add a 1/4 cup of chicken broth. You can also, in this part, some people like to use sauce. You can use a marinara sauce if you want to. It's kind of a fighting thing when you get to this recipe. Some people say you should have the red sauce. Other people say you do not use red sauce whatsoever. I like both, but honestly, I do prefer it without the red sauce. Sometimes I like to dip it. But you can do it either way if you want to. Once you're gonna do that, you're gonna add your sausage back in. Now, this is another thing that people like to do. They like to chop their sausage stop up, but I don't, because I like to have stop the whole one in there and then put it on top. Some people will just kind of mix it together with the cut pieces, but I like to have the whole piece, so I left them whole, and then we're just gonna cover that up and simmer that down to your liking again. In the meantime, I also had this nice ciabatta bread. Normally you're gonna use semolina bread, but ciabatta bread was on sale, and I've just been in a crazy mood for ciabatta bread. Put that in the oven for about 5 minutes till it gets nice and warm, and you cut that open, and this is just my own freestyle, but I added some lemon ricotta. Basically, I just took fat-free ricotta cheese and a little bit of lemon juice, a little lemon zest, and I added more Italian seasoning in that, and I spread it like it was mayo on top of the sandwich, and then I put it back in the oven for a little bit, and then I added the sausage on top, and then the red peppers, and closed it up, and that is what we have in front of you. Look at this thing. I'm drooling. I'm not kidding. I think I'll be lying when I'm drooling. Also found these. The bag is open because I'm going to show you the video. When I went to pick the bag up, I ripped it. I don't know how the hell I did, but it ripped at the seams in the back. There it is right there. I don't know, man. So I can't really move this because it's going to fall up out of the booty. I'm going to try to move it so I can show you the thumbnail. That's so cringe. There it is, though. And I'm going to put this down so I can get away from this. And I've got some of them over here. Let me just pour my drink. I got the Poverty. No, it isn't Poverty. It's actually Polish expensive, but it was on sale. Can you see that? It's orange vanilla. People around me can pronounce vanilla. It annoys the hell out of me, but that's not a story that needs for anything. I'm gonna pour this so I can get the phone. If you know how to pour this way, you're probably a bit of a person who drinks adult beverages. Because if you don't do it this way, you're gonna get that funny head stop on the top. So there that is, and there that is, and there that is. I got an extra can. Get out of the way. Let me get it. I ain't get my knife. Hold on, I gotta cut this. I didn't even bother to show you cutting it because every time I cut things on this table, I spill half of my stuff, so it's already cut. I pre-cut it. Look, this is my first time looking up with y'all. Can y'all get in here? Do y'all want to get? I'm dropping peppers, bah. Come on, man. Here, let's just do that. All right, I need to get in here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. I wish I could have this. But it is super easy to make. You just have to make sure your ingredients are Gucci. Just make sure your ingredients are good. And you really can't screw this up. In other words, make sure you have a good brand of protein in your sausage. Make sure you got good bread. And make sure you cook it right. There's not much of a nuance to this. It's more about the ingredients. And that ciabatta bread is just hitting right now. Mm. Mm. Okay. Let me try these puffs. Then, the topic that has been all over my super internet and all over my own comment section, I will weigh in on. I said I would. So, let me just try one of these real quick. Here's your puff. These are scorching hot. Oh, I can't lift it. Hold on. Can you see that? Scorching hot cheddar. How's the Cheez-It taste? A little bit of heat to it. Bro, my power just flickered. Did y'all see that? I'm not editing this. That was wild. Whatever, man. Alright, let's get some puffs. My power goes out. This is on a battery. As long as I got light. We eat. But unless you've been living under a rock, I guess no pun intended this time. If you didn't watch the Oscars yesterday, and you didn't go on the internet, which I'm guessing you did because you're watching this video, there was a big, what would you call it? They made a big deal, I guess. You just call it a big deal. Between one of my favorite actors of all time, and really one of my favorite comedians of all time. And I don't like talking about celebrity drama because I feel like they're human. And I feel like sometimes people forget that. You know, it's easy for us on the outside to judge because we're not sitting in that chair. We've never reached the heights of our careers respectively that they have. So it's very easy for us to be like, oh, well, I would have. Oh, well, he shouldn't have. Oh, well, they shouldn't have. And I completely understand that. But it's a hot topic. And I've gotten a lot of comments on my last video, as well as DMs, etc. What are your thoughts on it? So I will give my 2 cents. If you don't know, I guess I'll just go into the... Chris Rock was hosting the Oscars, which are awards for the best in the film industry, similar to the Grammys, but for film. I'm sure all of you know that, but, you know, I don't want to assume. And usually in these kind of shows, whether it's the ESPYs, the Grammys, the Oscars, they get a comedian as a host, and somewhere in the show, they will start to kind of go through the crowd and introduce some of the people and roast, you know, whoever. And it's been done almost every year. I remember, especially at the ESPYs, I remember like John Cena, my voice double, did it. Drake did it. He made a comment to Kevin Durant where Kevin Durant like flipped him off. Peyton Manning did it, and so on. And that happens in every award show. I only watch the ESPYs, so. Anyway, Chris Rock makes a comment about Jada Pinkett Smith, Will's wife, also obviously an actress. And the comment had to do with her hair, or lack thereof. He made a comment about the movie. He said, I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. Now, that movie came out in the 90s, I believe, but it's about a woman, Demi Moore, in the Army, Navy SEALs, actually, and she shaves her head for the movie, so she doesn't, you know, have hair. And he says, I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. Now, I don't know if Chris Rock knew or not, but Jada Pinkett Smith has autoimmune disease, alopecia, which causes hair loss. And I do know people that have it, and some of them are self-conscious about it. But he made a comment, and when you watched it, Will Smith initially started to laugh, but you could see Jada Pinkett Smith's face on the side of him. She didn't really like it very much. So he goes on maybe a couple more seconds into, you know, his spiel, And Will Smith gets up. He smacks him in the face. Like, he smacked the shit out of him. I'm laughing because I laugh in situations like this. I laugh when my power went out. I'm not laughing at the, but he smacks him right in the face. And he turns around, fixes his soup, goes and sits down. Some people think it was fake. I do not. Because of the reaction afterward. You could tell Chris Rock was a bit taken aback because he went improv and he literally said, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. And then he goes on, and you can hear Will Smith in the crowd because the crowd, pin drop quiet, and he says, don't talk about my effing wife. I believe the exact quote was, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Chris Rock continues and says, okay, I will. Will Smith, now the camera's on him, screams it again. Just in case you didn't hear. Keep my out of your mouth. And Chris Rock kind of goes on with the show. Now, at this point, I was awake, and it hit the internets like wildfire. I was watching one of my friends stream on Twitch, and that's how I found out. People started commenting. He pulls up the video. I'm like, oh, because at first I'm like, this had to be fake. When I'm watching, I'm like, I don't think he was kidding. So Will Smith goes on to win Best Actor for his role in King Richard, where he played Richard Williams, Serena Williams, and Venus Williams' father. Which he did a phenomenal job in, by the way. In his speech, he's in tears, and he kind of goes into like, I'm sorry I did that, and so on. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is definitely not fake. It's been 24 hours. He has issued an apology, basically apologizing to Chris Rock. I shouldn't have done it. I felt the need to protect my wife, and so on. That was pretty long, just the gist, but that was the whole thing. The internet itself has been pretty divided on the topic. A lot of people saying it's okay. I would have hit him too. Some people saying, he can't do that. It's wrong. You can't put your hands on somebody. Now, I'm the type of person that tries to see both sides of the story. But let me make my point. I'm not trying to beat around the bush. Do I think he should have hit him? The short answer, no. I don't think he should have hit him. With that being said, do I understand why he hit him? Absolutely. I don't want to be one of those old men, where I've said it before, I'm a 90s kid, and I don't want to be that guy, but back in my day, I'm talking grade school. If you said something about somebody, and I've said this in videos beforehand, you gotta be ready for whatever comes your way. Now, I understand people saying, oh, well, he's a comedian, comedians are off limits. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. Comedians talking about people is different than talking about groups of people. For example, if you make a comment about certain people's gender or race in a comedy sketch, people are still going to be offended by it. And some people say, oh, well, comedians can't. But you got to be ready for the consequences either way. It happened. There was a big deal with Dave Chappelle. Right? Some people took exception to what he said, whether right or wrong. Same thing goes with an individual. Numerous comedians, I watch a lot of stand-up, have made jokes about individual people, and some have actually added into the routine the reaction from those individual people. I remember Jamie Foxx in one called I Might Need Security. So he was talking about Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson had him in the club. And, took exception to it, and Jamie was like, oh, gotta go. He also said it about Diddy in the same stand-up. Go watch Jamie Foxx on My Insecurity. He makes this point. Now, so I understand why he felt offended, because even me, again, these are things that I have said before, so I'm not changing my tune. You can talk about me all you want. But when it comes to my loved ones, my family, even my dogs, I get more offended for them than for me. I don't care. But when you talk about them, we might have a problem. Now, internet talk, and I've said this too, it's funny, I'm just reiterating things. Everybody on the internet thinks they can say what they want to, because you can't get smacked on the internet. You can get smacked in real life. And Chris Rock got smacked. Now, he lost his cool, and he probably shouldn't have done it right there. But I think it was just a situation where people have been coming for Will Smith. You've seen all the memes. You've seen all the things with Jada Pinkett Smith, the entanglement talk, the August Alsina talk, and so on. People have been coming for Will with that picture he had and when she told him about the entanglements and he looked all down, right? I think when people take things over and over again, tempers tend to boil over eventually. People eventually get sick of that, and sometimes they snap. And I think Will Smith snapped. That's what I think happened. Now, it's easy for us to say on the sidelines he shouldn't have done it or he should have done it, or I would have done this. But that is what it is to me. If I was in the exact same situation, I do think that we would have had some problems. Especially in a situation like that. He's not talking about Will Smith, he's talking about his wife. Now, I know she can handle herself, but a lot of husbands, and I think him included, feels like he needs to protect her. And he knows people have been coming for her just as much as they've been coming for him. Right or wrong, that's what's been happening, right? A lot of people blame her for a lot of his stuff that's been happening. So, he did. If I were in that situation, more than likely, I wouldn't have said anything right there. But I do think if I would have found him in another situation, whether it be backstage or at an after party, I would have talked to him, but like, yo, fuck is your problem? Excuse my language, but. Now, if he would have said sorry, might have squashed it. If he would have made another comment, he might have got smacked. But me 10, 15 years ago, I was in a lot of fights. I probably would have smacked him too. And I'm not saying I'm right. But I probably would have. That's the reality, you know? And I think when people reach, everybody has a tipping point. And somebody who's been known as like kind of a cool, calm, you don't think of Will Smith like that, which I get, but he's still a human. He has emotions, whether he knows how to hide them or not, and eventually emotions boil over. Most people who know how to hide emotions or suppress them, eventually they snap. That's what it leads to. So, I do think that's what happened. And I've been in situations like that. I remember, and I told this story today because I was talking to my friends about the same situation. When I was in high school, I played ball, right? Football. I played a lot of sports, but this happened in football practice. All throughout the year, one of my friends on the team, like, people used to kind of, not pick on him. He was cool with everybody, but like, I don't know, it became a thing that everybody kind of like, one practice would like, smack him in the back of the helmet. Bow, right? Stupid stuff. And he would laugh, and we would laugh, and go on about the day. And this happened throughout the whole season. I'm talking week 1 to week 12. So every day, every week, somebody else do a pow, smack him back in the head. Somebody smack him on the butt. Pause. But you get like, football players like do that kind of stuff. So people kept doing it. No big deal. Nobody ever did. He laughed. We laughed. The coaches laughed. Wasn't a big deal. Right? Now, I'll never forget this. The last day of the season, the practice before a game. Literally, we had a game the next day. And we had a practice, which was like a walkthrough kind of thing. So we ain't got pads on. Right? In walkthroughs, you don't wear pads. So somebody doesn't begin to practice. Bow, everybody laughs. He don't say nothing. He laughs too. So about 30 minutes left of practice. And I remember this like it was yesterday. One of my teammates, same thing. Smacks him. Bow. He flips out. We have our helmets. Right? And he took his helmet off and he threw it at dude. He didn't hit him. If he would have connected, we would have had a problem. But he didn't hit him. And he basically cursed everybody out on the team. Right? He didn't grab his helmet. He left that shit on the floor and he just walked into the locker room. He didn't say nothing to nobody. He was mad. And some people were like, what the hell? And now that I've kind of reflected on that, it's kind of the same situation. Like, he laughed it off because he thought, he was just trying to like, I don't think he liked it the whole time. But a lot of times people use laughter. I do it, right? My power just went out and I laughed. Like, I'm not nervous or scared or anything, but like, that's what I do in situations. I laugh. Like, that's my thing too. But Sometimes people ain't really laughing. And people like, oh, well, Will Smith laughed. I don't think he was really laughing. I think he just tried to like play it off. You know, like he was like, ha ha ha, you got me, you got me. But when he saw his wife, and she wasn't laughing the whole time. You can go play it back. She had a straight as hell face. So, I think he just snapped, man. Like, I would have never thought in a million years he would get up in the middle of an award show in front of everybody. Like, you know he was tilted if he did that, because that's not him. Maybe it is him, but he's never done that before, so until further notice, I guess. But I think that's just what happened, man. And while I don't think he shouldn't have hit him, I do understand why he did. I'm sure he's sorry about it. I know he's kind of looking back like, damn, I messed up. But I'm going to be honest, man. Like, if me 10, 15 years ago, I was a hothead, bro. Like, I probably would have done the same shit. I'm just being real. Like, I'm older now, and I'm like calmer about stuff. But I'm sure I got a tipping point too. I hope I don't ever reach it. But, you know, and the last thing I'm gonna kind of say, and a lot of people ask, like, Chris Rock, he was calm under pressure. I do give him props for that. I do think what he said was messed up. He shouldn't have said it. Like, I get his comedy, but it's the same shit I say all the time. You don't know what people are going through, bro. So sometimes you got. That's why I don't talk to people like that. I don't crack on people like that, because you don't know what people are going through. And, you know, sometimes you got to be like, you know, isn't that kind of like, because he's saying G.I. Jane, she shaved her head because she was losing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same thing as just being bald, you know? Like, it's the same thing as clowning on dudes with receding hairlines and shit. Like, some dudes get really self-conscious about it. So, she probably wishes you know, like, you got to be careful with stuff you say, especially when you're talking about individual people. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, when Drake said that one thing about Kevin Durant, and people kept, I thought, like, because Peyton Manning said it too. Like, if KD wasn't sitting in the back row, you never know what could have happened. But you get what I'm saying. And before I go, this is the last thing, I promise. I give Chris Rock credit for not, because if that was me, I hate being if that was me guy, but you're not finna smack me. Like, he kept his cool, and he kind of improvised, and, you know, he ended up looking like the bigger person, I guess, in this situation. But I'm gonna keep it real. If I was on stage and somebody came out the crowd, I don't care if it was my dad. Dad, if you watching, don't smack me, bro. You ain't finna, like, Charlie Murphy said this, may he rest in peace. He said it in a special with Rick James, because everybody's been using the Rick James meme. He smacks Charlie Murphy in the face. He said, first of all, you wouldn't slap a man. You don't slap a man. Right? Even in the old days, they take the glove and they throw it on the floor and hit you. Wow, pow! I challenge you to a duel. He said after that, you know, they would have, somebody had to go. They would have a duel to the death. Somebody had to go. And I just think one of the most disrespectful things you can do, and this, I'm talking a man thing. I was talking to a woman about this before, and they're like, what's the big deal about getting smacked? I'm like, as a man, like, you ain't finna smack me. I'd rather you throw a punch. Because if you smack me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a thing. That's a guy thing. It's an ego thing. So there's a lot of dudes out there probably nodding their head. Like, don't smack me and don't spit on me, bro. Like, they gonna have to call. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm just, you might beat me up, but you're not just finna smack me. Like, you're not gonna, like, unless you got like a weapon, like a you know, a weapon. You're not finna smack me. If I know you ain't got a weapon, like, I'm coming after you, bro. And if you got a weapon, like, you better have it out. I'm just playing about that part, but don't smack me. But that's my take on a situation. I feel for Will Smith in a way, because I feel like he's been taking a lot over these last few years, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I do think he lost his cool, and he probably shouldn't have, but I do understand why he did it, and I think he just snapped. Right? I see both sides of it. He probably shouldn't have did it, but I might have done the shit too. Just being real. So that's my take on it, man. I know a lot of people might not agree with me, and some people might say he should have done it and so on, but I don't know. I'm at that point in my life where, like, I just feel like violence, like, he wasn't under attack physically. So, like, I try to be cool these days, man. 10 years ago, bro. You catch the fade, bro. I was just playing, but that's my take on it, man. The sandwich was delicious. I just wanted to check in with that. Yeah, tomorrow, more than likely, be back in the kitchen, too. I do got some more stuff came out, bro. Like, they trying to get me fat. I'm not doing it, bro. I'm trying to keep the, you know what I mean? But we gonna do it anyway. But we'll be back, man. Either way, more content. I love Yada Hand Signs. They made it to YouTube.